Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Just Gaming Today. I have a 4-hour video that's gotten me to this point. For this is my unlimited endless run for Outhold, and it's gotten to be too long. So I was going to try and break up the videos, but I don't think anybody's going to watch 4 hours of that. But I'm going to continue here and we'll see how much longer I can get this. I'm basically going to go until I can get to the record of the level. I think it's around 150. We're at wave one, we're running wave 120 here. So I'm going to let it continue here for a second. You kind of see what I've done here just as a review. And for those that I don't even know if I'm going to post the 4-hour video, it's way, way too long. But you can see my plan was is to get a bank zone on every single. So you see that I've done that. Some of them have two. So this one has two, this one has two, this one has two. I'm gonna go up here and check this. It should be, yeah. Okay, so we're still running some bosses here. Yeah, so this is gonna, you also see that this tower is leveled up to 113. It's really the only tower doing damage. You see it's done 73% of the damage here. As it kills these little guys, it ends up, raising that percentage quite a bit. And you see the level up went to 0, and it's needing another 10 million to level up. But you see how fast this goes down with the current situation that I'm in. So I've accumulated 163,000 for the bank. I've got one more backup tower here, which is doing nothing. It hasn't fired in forever. It's level 30, and then I have an arrow tower here just to try and cause random explosions. And then I have two pulse towers. These are very, very important, and they need to be placed in these spots. They're ice towers. So these ice towers have that chance to cause a rewind. And it's, and then you got to check this tower every so often because it's going to get down to 0 pretty quickly. So this is the situation where we're at right now. We're calling early waves. As soon as this turns active, I call the next wave because we're able to kill 2 waves at a time. Can't speed it up any more than that. That's my main problem, is that I wish I could speed the game up more, but it's really laggy right now. So, sorry, my voice is kind of breaking up too because I've been talking for kind of 4 hours on that other recording. I'll probably post it, but if you just want to know what happens, this is probably going to be the video to watch. I'm going to let this go to at least wave, I don't know, 160 or something if we can. Depends on how long this one stretches out. But for the moment, we got to kind of keep an eye on this, and we keep an eye on the early wave. That's my two jobs at this point, is when that level up says 0, I push the button. And then when the early wave is active, I push that button. So here, and my mouse is going to go slow. So I have a decent reaction time, but my mouse is going to go slow because there's a lot of lag at the moment. So when I get to about 200,000, I'm going to work on, I might actually do one more heal. I was sitting at 7 health for a very, very, very long time. And I've managed to work my way back up to 22 health, just slowly but surely investing back into the heals. And the heals are very expensive right now. It's 61,000 for a heal. So I'm doing the two things, I'm going to go ahead and heal again. So now I'm at 27 health. I'm wondering if I can actually level myself all the way back up to full health. I think something that's really causing part of the success here is I've managed to take damage all the way down to 7 health. And plus, I've healed a lot since then. But I'm at 66% bonus damage, so I'm getting quite a bit of bonus damage off of just having been damaged. So this tower is getting close to level 120. We have almost probably ready to call the early wave 125. We'll just let that crank down. This has been quite a haul. I'm hungry. I was planning to watch baseball and I had some work to do today, but this has been a very interesting run so far. So I wanted to keep going. I'll encourage people to subscribe to the channel. I'm almost at 30 subscribers. It's not a lot. I'm a really small channel. If you could subscribe, I'd really greatly appreciate that. And if you like the video, like them. If you dislike the video, dislike it, and tell me why. I'll try and improve. If there's any type of game you'd like me to try and play, get into that as well. You know, I have some different videos coming up that I'm going to give a shot at with, like Titan Quest 2. I have this Siege demo that I want to put out and a video on. And then, of course, some more Outhold. Outhold is a lot of fun. It's just this particular style of play is taking a lot of time. So it's interesting how much time it takes. I'm wondering if I could just walk away from this now, and it'll probably run for another 50 levels if I let it. It seems rather autopilotish at the moment. But I wanted to break the video. I may or may not post the first half. It's 4 hours, and not really the first half. It took a long time to get there, and it's just a lot of babysitting. This particular setup for this particular level, it's kind of like, let's shoot a bunch of, you know, fish in a barrel. You can see that even the small, you know, enemies have billions and billions of health. This is 1 trillion. It's almost 2 trillion health, and I'm just zapping them into non-existence. So it really does this. If you build this setup, the one thing I'd probably change about this setup is I would move this lightning earth tower here. And the reason being, I kind of want the enemies to get onto these bank tiles, but I'm too far into this run to move it. So I'm not going to do it. But if I did this again, which I probably won't, if you want to beat this, you put your earth lightning tower here. This tower is doing almost nothing. This tower, I've leveled up. It's done 83,000 damage compared to however many kabillions that is. I don't even know what. It's too hard to figure out at that. Let's do an early wave call here. You kind of want to get the little guys mixed in with these, mixed in with the bosses if you can, because they explode, and the explosions cause a lot of damage, and the bosses have a kabillion health as well. And you see the poison and the burn, they're doing nothing. It's all about the bank towers. You see that this bank tower has probably done how many kabillions of damage. Yeah, it's only 2% of the damage, but it's a lot against the bosses. So the lightning tower is really where it's at when it's not the boss. The other towers, I'm going to go ahead and crank this up to level 35. I'm just paying full for it. Is that 34? Yeah, 35. Okay. Let's just kind of have a backup tower. Then this guy will probably crank up to 30 so we get more. I just want to have a pocket heal. Pocket heal is 122 now. So I am going to go ahead and crank this guy up to 30. And I want to increase the range is really what I'm looking for here. Right, so he's got the full map. So I want to just be able to kind of cause explosions with him. He's not really going to do a lot of damage. I know, you know, he hasn't even done 1 billion damage yet, right? But what I'm looking for is him to trigger things. Like I want him to put burning on, even though the burning's not doing a lot, it's doing something. Right? Now this one here, I don't think it's ever going to rival this tower. But honestly, if I could get this tower up into the 40-ish level, if things ever get down here, it can do some work. But as you see, nothing's getting there. This tower hasn't fired in forever. So really what I'm looking to do with this tower is I don't care about the damage so much. I really want to push the range. So if I can get the range out, you see just that little bit of extra range, maybe I can push it closer and closer to actually doing something at some point in time. So for the moment, I'm going to go ahead and keep pushing this out a little bit. I'm going to keep it there for now. It's 38. It's getting to be about 7,000 for it. See if this has gone down at all. Really need to get the little guys coming again, and then once the little guys start coming out, the the um, the amount of the upgrade comes down quite significantly. Now here is exactly where the bosses are getting to at the moment. Get here and they die. So their health is going up and my damage is going up to the point where we're kind of tied. I don't know when that tie is going to break, but for the moment, this is where they're dying for the most part. Sometimes they die earlier. And it really pins around these two pulse towers. So these two pulse towers are extremely important because of the rewind. You see, he has a 10% chance of rewind to slowed enemies. Once they're slowed, it can push them back, and then they're going to take more and more damage from the bank towers. They slow down. They have to continue to try and trudge their way forward, and it's a real mess for them. So these two ice towers, I would place them exactly here. The only thing I would change about this run is I would move this tower here, like I said, and have it start cranking its world levels here instead. So it's been quite fun to play this. I just don't know how much more I can take of it. It's been almost 4.5 hours at this point. But it's fun. I'm devoted to it, so we'll see. And as far as I know, I'm gonna have to start a game on my own, just to experiment with. I never tried to save a game. I don't really think you can. I tried to figure out if I could increase. Sorry, I see this early wave. Should have pressed that. This is probably sitting at 0 again. Yep. So you'll see it's at like 27 million to level up, but watch how fast this goes down. And so the tower's at level 124 at the moment, and millions and millions of coins to level up, but it's just eating it up by killing enemies. So that's part of the tree there. So there's a part of the tree that says, when you kill an enemy, your level up cost goes down. You can see it just goes right to 0. Now we're back at, 30 million again. But you see how fast it goes. So you kind of got to monitor. Your job is to monitor this and to monitor that early wave button. So you don't have to press them all, super twitchy or anything, but that's really what you're looking for at this point. And I don't want to hover over it because I don't want to accidentally spend every last dime that I have. I really just want it to go down to 0 like that. And I also want to be careful not to press demolish. I think there's a confirmation if you press demolish, because they ask you what you want to do with it. But I definitely don't want to demolish it, so you kind of be careful with that. And it stops you from pushing early wave too many times. So you see I've called wave 128. I'm still working through wave 127 and 128 now. So it kind of stops you from pressing so many waves at once. Otherwise, I would actually call 129 right now. I'd be like, yeah, just give me all 3 of the waves. I don't really care. I can kill them all. So we're at 35 million for a level up now. As you can see, it's super fast going down. So it's very interesting, how it goes. And if I have to pause at some point, I might have to pause this because it's been so long. If I get a call from my daughter or something, I'll have to take the call from her, but it'll be really short for you. I'll just pause it and then bring it back online once the call's over. And it'll be instantaneous for you, but you'll see like a continue screen pop up. So I'm being lax in my duty there. So almost 40 million on a level up now. So we're getting up to 216,000 gold coins in my bank. I really like this to... Once it says 127 waves completed, this will pop. But I'm getting a level up again here before it is actually doing anything. just killing things so fast it's unable to do much. It is an interesting situation to be in. Look at the damage dealt, maxed it out. It can't calculate the damage anymore. Huh. That's certainly interesting. I've done the biggest number that it can. Huh. That's funny. And I can still increase the level of the tower. So, I don't know. Maybe it's still percentage calculating it. Let's see if it moves up from 83 as I move along here. There's a boss level coming, so I'm just going to remember it says 83 at the moment. So these are still calculating. Finally did a billion with him. Huh. I'm wondering if the game ever expected it. It is calculating percentages, so the damage dealt is still being calculated. However, I'm starting to be concerned if I'll run into some type of an error here at some point, because I'm basically letting this one tower do all the work. So one earth lightning tower is doing all of this work. It is the only thing doing anything. This tower fires random arrows every once in a while, but it's really doing nothing. This tower has done an additional 60,000 damage. So it has done basically nothing. However, I'm not opposed to like leveling it up some just in case it has to start doing something. So it's at level 40. So it's at 0 again. It's at 132. So the bosses should be coming soon. If I can get through the next two waves, I've already called the boss wave, but I can't call the next wave until I've killed next to the last boss. Once there's one little boss guy left, it's basically we'll start spawning the smaller units. So 128 is done. We're heading towards 129. And then things get delayed for 130, which I think is the boss level. It might let me call 132 as I get up here. Here's 131. Yeah, let's call it. Because I honestly don't care. I'll take on all comers at this point. Yeah, we have over 300,000 gold now. So I'm just going to keep accumulating gold. It went way, way up right there. So I'm not really sure why it jumped as high as it did so fast, but it did. I think it was when I got to the boss level there. And you see the bosses have bajillions of experience or health. Sorry, not experience points. So it's very interesting. Boy, I give it to the guys who have weathered through all of this, getting to like, 143 or whatever level they got to on the leaderboard, because this has taken forever. And I wasn't doing these early wave calls until I felt kind of comfortable about it. I wasn't sure the build could take on, two waves at once, but it easily does that. The only waves that I'm really kind of concerned about are the boss waves, and actually, so far, we can see if anybody gets past this point, it's new territory, because they've all been dying before where my mouse is. So if anybody gets past that, that would be interesting. But so far, it hasn't happened for a long time. Happened earlier in the game, right? There were some interesting points in the game where I was down to 7 health, but right now I'm sitting, very pretty at the moment. I'm also wondering at this point, is it worthwhile like unlocking a bunch of these nodes and just putting more stuff over here? I don't know. Um, Not sure that that's something that's going to help at all. I think it's just far more effective to just be spending on health. So that one's level 40. This one's still, you see, it's not getting any kills. So it's not decreasing its value to level up. It's been sitting at that 4470 for a very long time. This one hasn't even fired this boss level. So it's pretty interesting. Should see, if this is the last boss here soon. The one thing about the early waves is you can't see the current countdown, so you're not sure how much is left in this wave. But when you have the next to last boss, you'll start seeing the little guys spawn, so I'm not close yet. You'll see, I think that arrow tower is the one that's causing all those fireballs to launch too. So that's why I did include an arrow tower in this. I think it gives a better chance to explode. You see that one made it right where I told you the mouse would be. So my mouse earlier was right here. And that's exactly where that last boss died. So there's something, it just they haven't been able to get past this spot yet. And you see the damage is locked. Damage delta is as far as it'll go. The percentage is still tracking. I was wondering if that would start going up again, but it hasn't. Just keep an eye out for when I can press that early wave button again. I don't think it's going to be able to level up with these bosses. It's more about the amount of things you kill that brings the price down. It's percentage per thing you kill, and that one lightning tower is just killing everything, so it's able to just gobble up those bonuses and just decrease everything. Now you see that the little guys are here again. So we got to kill this last bosses, and this is getting farther now, so that's interesting. And this one's actually firing. You saw it actually moving. So that was, I guess, a little bit exciting that there was something going on there. Let's see if this is at 0. It's working its way down. We're up to 370,000 gold, so I might actually invest in another heal. It would be interesting if I could get up to max health and I could just walk away and do some laundry for a bit and let this run. Yeah, we're at 27 right now. I'm just going to let it keep going for the moment because I don't think I'm going to be able to get back to health. I think I'd get one more heal, 2 more heals, have an emergency heal there. But I'd really like to expand this range, but it's so much to level them up at this point. And this one kind of cranked down to 0. Yep, it goes from 1 million to 0 like that. Let's watch this again. I'm interested to see if this level up countdown will get garbled, so where it has too many digits to display properly. Because the highest I'd ever gotten a tower before this was level 70, and I thought that was doing something crazy, but this is already 135. I've almost doubled that. I don't think there's a maximum level, but there's obviously a maximum amount that it can display on things. We've already reached that damage wise. Okay, I can call the early wave. Watch this countdown. And you get to hear the arrow tower fire off every once in a while. It does have a pretty good range. The lightning tower, I'm just killing stuff off, even before it gets on the map. Unfortunately, I wish it would actually let things get on the map, because then my bank towers would generate more coins. But I don't seem to be having a problem generating the coins at this point. So I'm just gonna let my coins keep generating, because the more that I have, the faster they seem to accumulate. So I think it has that interest that I was talking about. There's some points on the tree, but I think it might have something to do with you get more money per kill based on how much money you have. Might be something like that because they seem to be accumulating money a lot faster this way. I'm also wondering what's the maximum amount of money, the max amount of coins you can have. It's pretty wild. Even with the early wave calls, it is taking a long time to get through this. It's very very long. I feel comfortable with where we're at. I haven't seen anything challenge us in a very long time. But I wish there was a way to automate the early wave calls. Like just as soon as it hits early wave, call it. I've already pushed this, to auto start each wave, but it doesn't auto early wave it. So almost 500,000 coins. That's the most I've ever had in my coin bank. So that's for sure. So we're in the 120 million area for a level up, and then it just starts. Actually, is it more than that? No, it's about 120 million for one level up at this point. Pretty wild. All right, we're going to crank this up a bit. 2, 4, one more, 5. So it's level 45. Its reach is right where the bosses are dying now. Let's get this early wave going. Still above 500,000 gold. I'm going to let this go for a moment. I'm going to get some water to drink, and I'll be right back. All right, well, completely unattended, and things are still looking good. I do need to hit the early wave button, and let me do my other chore, which is hitting this button here. Bosses are coming, so you see the boss's health are maxed out as well. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. You see the boss's display here actually kicked way out here now because it's out of area. They're still dying well before this area here. So that's kind of interesting too. Um, yeah, we're definitely pushing the boundaries of the game itself. I I think the developers really need to, they do have a transition where they go from um, millions to billions. They probably need to put trillions and then a Q for quadrillion and things like that to fix some of the display issues at this point. But I'm also afraid, have I maxed out the boss health at this point? Because I'm only going to get better, right? They're not going to get better. Well, they'll get better, but I'm only going to get better and better and better and better. And these banks are dealing percentile damages. So you see, this bank's actually maxed out. Yeah, I've got even my front row banks are maxed out on how it can display damage, right? So these guys aren't yet, but they will be soon, I'm sure. All right, and you'll know you're doing really well with some of this when you see the little pause and another one has to come out after a second. So that's how you know you're killing. Kind of standing up here for a moment. I've been sitting for so long. I need to get some blood flow to my legs. So if it sounds a little different, I'm sorry. Boss levels are probably a good time to stand. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. There's not a lot to do during the boss levels at this point. So if you're gonna take a break or stand or whatnot, it's a good idea to do it here because you don't really have a lot to do. This guy's not leveling up during a boss level. He's not killing a lot of stuff. Now, in the middle of the game, you're actually actively healing your outhold quite a bit. So you got to watch that. For 27, I could spend more. I think I'm just going to let the money kind of accumulate and see if I can get more and more and more money. And I was playing with the coin cannon for a while, but it became useless. It's really not of any use anymore. Yeah, and you see that boss made it exactly to the spot where everybody dies. So right here. So not making it any farther now. In the earlier runs, earlier waves, you do see them make it farther and farther. They end up hitting your outhold. This run was endangered several times where, I was like, nope, we're not making it. And that was in the 60s and 70s, those levels or those waves. But once I got past that, the whole thing got laid out where I got all my banks out and everything just came together and it just started massacring every single wave after that. So much so that I'm not sure that it can. I don't know what the game's going to throw at this to try and defeat it. I don't think it can. But I don't know. I've never been this far into the game. I'm not sure how it's going to win. I'm killing bosses, and I got these guys. I'm calling early waves. I just don't care anymore because it's like, okay, well, this lightning tower is level 143, and I could just watch millions and tens of millions of gold come off the update really, really fast. I've almost got a million gold banked. I was seriously doubting that there was a possibility of getting back to 50 health on my outhold, but now I'm not doubting it anymore because this is five more, right? It's just a matter of keeping the game going and then I can get to wherever I need to go, right? This is 45, but I don't really think I'm going to do any more with it. I'm not doing any more with this. I don't think adding any more towers are going to be of any advantage. I think really this tower is just the key to everything, right? I just need to early wave as soon as it lets me early wave to try and speed this all up. But in reality, I don't know. I can't make it go any faster. So the folks that have gotten into the 140s on level one, congrats. You've spent a good 6 hours of your time getting there. It's a real haul. I'm at least at four. I'm pretty much pushing 5 hours now, I think, invested into this run. And I wish you could save it and pick up where you left off, but you really can't, I don't think. So I might have to step away from Outhold for a little bit and play some other games after putting this much time into this run. But you do see the general idea. If you have any questions about how I set this up, let me know. You can see that in the first video. I will post the first video if YouTube will let me. It's like over 4 hours long, so I don't know if it's gonna complain or puke. I might have to load that up overnight or something. So pretty wild. It should be at zero again, right? Oh no, it actually takes more than a couple of seconds to get to zero now. I get to eat dinner. Well, there are a couple of seconds. Yeah, I got to eat dinner. Heck, I haven't even eaten lunch. I started this before lunch, and now it's getting way too late for lunch. I'm gonna have to get dinner. We've almost got 1,000,000 gold too, so let's do the early. And I'm trying to move my mouse faster than this, but it's very laggy. So yeah, if you have any suggestions for games you'd like to see me try and play, if you're interested in a particular game and you're kind of not willing to try it out yourself, let me know. If I can pick up a demo, or I might already have it in my Steam collection. I have quite a bit of games. I like a variety of games, so if you want to see me try something else out, I've got a bunch of tower defense games. I've got roguelikes. I've got card games. Really enjoy playing like Diablo 2 and Path of Exile and things like that. There's already a bunch of channels out there for that. One thing I am thinking about doing is the Titan Quest 2. But I'm waiting until the summoners come out. So the summons and the summoners are coming out this month. I think we're pretty close. It's they said like the 22nd or something like that. So I have to check that on Steam to be sure. But for the moment, I'm kind of waiting on that. I have played it through Act One, and then I kind of set it aside. I was like, well, let's let it cook for a little longer. Really enjoyed, Act One and its an initial feel. I played Titan Quest, the original Titan Quest, which is another excellent game. The character development system in that is amazing. It's really fun. It's Roman. It's got all kinds of different mythological beasts and gods and all this stuff involved in it. It's a really fun time. It's obviously a Diablo clone, right? It does what Diablo does, but it's a different environment, right? Diablo's all demon and devil and all this stuff, running around. Where Titan Quest is a little different. So if you ever play it, it's very, very good. Even the old game is very good, and actually the game runs well on modern computers as well. So if you're interested in playing the original, you can go back and play that and see what it has to offer. And Titan Quest 2 is in early development, but you can have access to it if you buy it. I think when I bought it, it was $30. It might be more expensive or about the same. It Might be even on sale, to try and get more people to play. I haven't been playing those games for a while. I was playing Path of Exile 2 for a bit, and it's a blast as well. You only have so much time, right? So when I get on those kicks to play Path of Exile and those types of games, they absolutely dominate your time because you just need to play them a lot. So they're fun. I enjoy it. I'm probably going to switch over to those here in a bit. Put some Titan Quest 2 videos up and see how those do. Um, the so far I'm happy with the channel and the amount of volume of videos I can put out. However, don't have a big subscriber base yet. So if you do like these videos and you do want to see more, let me know what you want to see, and also subscribe, because I need to get some subscribers. The more subscribers I get, the more it'll push the algorithm to have folks watch my videos. I think that would be awesome. Help grow the channel. You know the deal with YouTube. Each like and subscribe actually means an awful lot. And I've noticed that on the videos, the ones that get far more views are the ones that are running when I get a subscription or subscribe, or if I get a like on the video, they end up doing much better. Even if I get a dislike on the video, it does better. So it's interesting. I'm not sure exactly how the algorithm works, but dislikes seem to push the videos up in the algorithm as well. But I'd prefer you like the video. But if you don't like the video, let me know what you don't like about it. I'll try and make it better. Unfortunately, with this particular game, I can't make this go any faster. That's my one problem right now, is everything's very slow. And I've been trying to figure out how to make it go faster, but I can't. So I'm going to go ahead and heal. We're over 1 million now, so that was one thing I wanted to do. There's a little bell when you heal. So now it's 245. I might heal again. Not really using my money for anything else. So let's go there. I can actually get myself all the way back up to 50 again. It would be very interesting. I need 3 more heals to do that. So I think it'll be 491 and then 750 or 800 and something would be my guess. But at the moment, I don't see any way for the enemies to defeat this build at this point. I think I've kind of maxed where things are. Maybe there's a maximum level. Sure. What was interesting before this one, I did go all the way down and take a look at like the unlimited endless runs on the very last level, on level 9, and someone had like 100,000 waves. So I don't know what was up with that. It's weird. It's like 100,002. It would take years for somebody to do 100,000 waves on this game. So I'm not sure how that worked. So developers, if you are watching this, check that out, because that's definitely not correct. Yeah, it's taken me 6 hours to run 140 waves here. Let's go back here. It's probably at 0 again, or close, getting close. Oh, we still have the bosses coming. Come on, bosses. So I'm going to try and get to wave 150, and then I'm going to call it. I'm just going to start deleting towers until they can kill me, and then I'll probably call it there. Because I think 150 gets me past everybody on the list. But even if it doesn't, I'm fine wherever I place. It's getting too long at this point. Again, like I said, if I had to do this over again, I would move, if you have the whole day, move this tower here. And beyond that, I wouldn't change a thing. I think this entire setup is really good. I don't think this tower's needed. It hasn't done any damage in forever. Well, it's done 22 billion now that I've been able to get it out, far enough range-wise. but it's not needed. You don't have to do anything with that. Yeah, I'm just gonna let this crank. Yeah, I wish there was a way to speed up the game itself. You really can't, which is unfortunate. So, and then when you've done the early waves, you can't see how far ahead you are of things. It just kind of starts the next one, and there's a little delay, and you gotta wait. And it just takes a while. Yeah, it's interesting too that this boss display it keeps getting pushed out farther and farther and farther. So I'm wondering if like some this display will actually interfere with playing the game if you get too far. I think this number's maxed out, so I don't think I can go any more. You can see the burning and the poison and stuff really do almost no damage. Um, so I'm not sure that they're worthwhile as approaches to the game to get this high, but they are in the tree. They are there. You do get them for free in a lot of instances. You know, when an arrow hits, it poisons or burns or whatever. Um, so, you know, it is what it is. You can't really do much about that. It's just obnoxiously long at this point to get through a wave. You see, this wave has been going on for probably 5 minutes. It's like, okay, enough bosses. Either send something tougher or there's no, or send them closer together or do something that's different. You know, from a development perspective, they need to change something. You know, now I see the little guys are coming, so his level ups should be cranking down again. But I really want to get the early wave here is what I'm looking for. We're getting close to the maximum that folks have been to. So I don't know if it just gets like they send some insane like right now everything just seems exactly the same. It doesn't seem like any of the waves are harder. It doesn't seem like anything's actually getting more difficult. It's just things just keep going. So there's nothing happening. So I'm going to try to get the 150 and we're going to call it there. And I'll just delete towers until they kill me. But I do think it is. I'm going to go ahead and heal given that stating that case. I want to see what the next heal is. So the next heal is almost 1,000,000. I can get there if I wanted to, right? So I'm at 142. It's very very interesting to see. You know, once you get to this point, you can kind of go infinite. I think we'll see because I think the highest bef- before this was like 148 or something. So I'll have to see when this is over. I might not even have that all right, but this tower is 153. That's certainly as high as I've ever gotten any tower. Before this, it was like level 70 or something. So watch this kind of crank down. Yeah, and if I can get the million to level up or heal up again, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And realize I was down to 7 health and I was kind of milking that 7 health, you know, and kind of protecting it. I would go into boss waves and I would heal 3 times to get up to 22. Then they would hit me 3 times. So it's not like this build was you know omnipotent in the beginning or in the middle. It seems omnipotent now. Like I don't think the game has an ability to get to my Outhold at this point. Especially when I see all these numbers maxed out. You know, the grunts are now having, you know, this extended display and they're just dying right at the start. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's anything that the game's going to be able to challenge this build with at this point, especially with the fact that I just keep leveling this so quickly. So we're currently fighting waves 142 and 143. We get the 142 completed, then 144 will pop up for us to go. Really, the ones that take the longest is the boss levels. The boss levels just take 10 minutes at this point. Yeah, we're 50 minutes into this video. We've only gone 11 waves. So you can see it really does take quite a long time. I think I flipped over to this one either at 121 or 131. So it's quite a long time to get through these levels. I'm honestly thinking I could get in my car, go to the store, come back, and this would just still be going. I might actually do that, but I'm gonna I don't know what to do, with it. Just kind of let it go, and then if I die, I die. Um, that would be interesting to see if it would just keep running forever. So I might do that. I might just let it run. It's pretty wild. Because I can certainly kill myself off, right? I could delete this tower and delete other towers. That'd be a real problem. But at this point, I don't know that it's got what it takes to defeat this lineup here. Yeah, and I could have way more gold if I just had this back 2 more spots. But it's just not going to work that way. We're at 42, so it's probably the last heal I can do, realistically. But if I just let the game go, I could heal up to 50 again. I'm sure I could get back to 50. And like I said, unless something radical happens here, pretty sure I could get it back up to 50 health. This guy's probably at 0 again. Yep. And I've probably, like, it's at 158. Realistically, I could probably be at 190. And the reason being is I've come back to this tower so many times and it's just sitting at 0. And it's just, I'm trying to do other things in the game early on and it's just sitting at 0. So that when it's sitting at 0, it's not advancing, right? So even though it takes a little longer to advance now, those times where it was sitting at 0, I probably could have another at least 18 levels. So I would say 170 is about the guess of where it would have been if I was on top of it every single time. So you could push farther than what I've done here. Like that's an example of where I was able to get it, pretty quickly. We're almost at 1 billion to level up. And you see how quickly it goes down by killing all these things, it's a 500 million, and then now it's going to go down into the tens of millions here in a little bit. Just looking for it to say 0. It goes from 1 million to 0 in like a blink of an eye. So you can watch it here. It's at 15. And once it gets to 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1, 0. So maybe a second to get to 0. Then you're ready to go again. So I'm kind of convinced that the folks that have gotten into the 140s have probably just given up at a certain point. But at some time, I'm just going to have to mute this and maybe let it go for a while and see where I can get. And maybe I'll clip the portion out that's muted because it's just going to look like this. The only thing that's going to be different is this tower is going to stop leveling, right? And I'm not going to be able to hit early wave, but it would just keep going in perpetuity. The only time that it would stop is if they would get to my outhold, it would stop. And what happens, it seems, is that if you take some damage, the early wave call doesn't, or the auto wave call doesn't work anymore. So it kind of pauses and lets you make some adjustments and stuff. But I haven't seen a boss get past here in hours. So I don't know, if that happened, I would probably be sitting here, you know, yeah, if they happen to do some damage to my base, then they would do the damage. But I'm fairly convinced that it's not getting to my base anymore unless something crazy happens. See, I'm killing bosses off the screen now. See that? Yeah, they're not even getting on the screen. Before I had to rely on my tank towers killing bosses, and now I'm killing some of them off the screen with explosions and stuff. So, pretty wild. And it just takes too long for them to spawn. I wish they would all spawn together and all just die in a big bunch, but they're not. So maybe that's what I'll do at 150. I do need to get some food. So I can just let it go and see what's going on when I get back. I don't know if my computer will turn off. As long as this is running, I don't think it will. But I don't know if I have to move my mouse to keep it going or something. So it might bug out. That might be the only problem with that plan. Plus, I'm starting to lose my voice. It's been hours of talking straight. Yeah, maybe I'll stick with my original plan or not. Just let it go. I'm fairly sure it could go on for because this boss. I'm going to say no boss makes it on this level. No boss makes it past this marker here. They just won't. And if they do, something's changed internally in the game because they just don't make it past this. I don't even think they're going to get close to it. Um, we'll see. Like this guy he's got a lot of promise, then he's just going to blow up. See that double bank layer right there is really powerful. Here he goes. Explode. It's exactly where I put the mouse. And that's the way it's been for hours. So I'm not too sure that it actually can get any better at trying to get to the outhold. I think it'll go on forever. I think the health on the bosses has reached their max that it can reach within the limits of the game. And I'm getting better and they're not. So that's really bad. When you get to that point, the game's pretty much over. You can let it go in perpetuity, but I think we're going to try to get into the 150s. I think that's where the top of the rung was. It at least puts me in the top 5, and I'm happy with that. So we'll get to 150 and we're going to call it quits. I was going to let it run. I could probably let it run till it says 800. I got stuff to do. And I was hoping this would be a shorter video, but it's already an hour. And then more bosses will come here. I don't like that delay either. I think that these higher levels, it should just keep things coming. It's got to stream more towards you, but I don't think the game can take it. I don't think it was built efficiently for this type of play. And that's not a criticism of the developers. It's their first intent was to make a minimalistic game that only had 10 levels and allowed you to experiment with a bunch of towers and have this nice tree. They did not expect to have the success that they did, and they tried to expand the game by allowing these limited endless, where it limits your tree, which I think that's really cool. But this unlimited endless is something that was kind of pressed upon them by fans. They're like, oh, let us use the full tree on every level. That wasn't their intent. So what you're seeing here is the limitation of the development that they had in place. I think what's happened is these bosses can't get any better, and they're just going to die at exactly the same spots. Maybe it gets a pixel farther or something, but you see it's way, way, way far away from the Outhold. And I can't even see the amount of health that it has anymore. And then it just takes too long to kill them. You see the bank towers are making the number over here, that 7 over in the health slot right now. You see the 7 billion, 7 kabillion drops down to 4, and then 3, and then digits are going to be struck off, and it does percentage damage, and it just so much. So you see all the fireballs firing behind it, in front of it. Full tree build's pretty good. Hopefully that's the last one. It got exactly to the same spot. Oh, come on. It's just more and more bosses. It's like, stop the bosses. All right, I think there's little guys now, so I can start pushing the new levels. Okay, good. I was like, come on with the bosses. Killed enough of them. I've severely demonstrated that I can just wreck everything at this point. So you see this lightning tower, look at its percentage damage now. It's dealing 95% of all the damage. So the highest that's ever been has been 85. Now it's doing 95% because it's able to kill stuff the moment it spawns. And the only time that the bank towers come into play is for the bosses. So we're doing a massive amount of damage with that. And you see these bank towers have hit the maximum, and they're still saying 0%. So you see the damage dealt. It's never going to go up. It's tracking the percentages, but it can't go beyond that on the display. This bank tower hasn't really hit, much. And I did invest in these bank towers, which they were very helpful mid game and early game. And I invested in these bank towers. This one's done no damage, but I thought I would need these bank towers to actually keep progressing in the game. But it turns out it's not even needed. The only thing that I would change about this, like I said, is moving this one to the here. You get this setup. If you can manage that mid game to get this sort of setup, you're just going to go on forever, I believe. There is some very challenging mid game play, but once you get through it, you're good. In the 60s and 70s and before that, there's you're taking damage and you got to mitigate it, heal, recover, do what you need to do with your towers, and you can get to this point guaranteed. The first things I did was try and set up these beginning banking towers and these pulse. So it's very important that you put these pulses down. Now, this is interesting here because I haven't seen these little guys get here. Ah, okay. I'm talking a bunch of crap on the game, and all of a sudden it's putting something new. Look at these guys. Oh, look at its health. It's basically telling me the game's over. The game is cheating at this point, which is fine. But it's cheating because you see the health on the grunts. I've killed them all, but they're still going. So, okay. I was wondering if there was going to be an actual end that the game forced, because there really isn't anything else that it can do other than this. I've got all these guys at 0 health, and they just keep coming. So, okay. So the developers did force an end. There's nothing I can do here, which is fine because I want to go get something to eat. So you can't get past 146. I don't think. I don't know if it bugged out there, if all the numbers were too high, but something happened there. But let's see where everybody else is. If anybody else got past 146, I would be surprised. We got 146 is the end. So we've got 3 people tied at 146. Castor, I've seen him all over the game. That's awesome. Interesting. Interesting. So we basically have a 3-way tie for first place. Excellent. Well, I'm gonna probably not post the 4-hour video for the first 130 waves or whatnot. It's just too long. But I've described in this video the way to get to where I am. If you want to max this level out, build what I built and build out your bank towers. You want 1 bank tower in every position other than that very first position off to your left. You want 2 as early as you can. Put the pulse towers down where I had them, put ice on them, build the earth lightning tower 2 spaces more to the right, and you're golden. You're going to hit this easy. You can put the earth lightning tower exactly where it is. You're just going to have less money to work with. I think if you move the earth lightning tower down 2, you're actually going to get those smaller critters, the smaller grunts. As they come through, they're going to generate more coins before they get to the death of that earth tower. Eventually that earth lightning tower is going to expand its range so far it won't matter, but it'll help you early on and make the mid game easier. So give that a shot. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And hopefully you guys had fun watching this. Take care, everybody.